What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Warrior Soul Agoge vlogs, where I answer questions and help you guys out with specific fitness stuff. And I got a great question yesterday, and it was from a gentleman named Tim, and he said, Chris Albert, as I am getting older, I am no longer focused on building the best fitness level, but just trying to maintain a healthy level and minimize injuries. Any suggestions? Well, I've got a few, Tim, but first I want to talk about your language. In this question, you say, I am no longer focused on building the best fitness level, but just trying to maintain a healthy level and minimize injuries. And I understand your question. I understand exactly what you're asking me, but I want you to be careful here, because I think a lot of us fall into a trap in saying, hey, you know what? I'm 40 years old. I can't train anymore. Hey, I'm 50 years old. I shouldn't be lifting weights anymore. I shouldn't be doing this anymore. What you're really asking and what you're saying is, yeah, you do want to maintain the best fitness level, but the best fitness level for your age, right? And I think that's important. It's important for all of us to understand that, you know, when we turn a certain age, it's not time for us to say, hey, I'm going to stop training altogether. In fact, as you get older, training becomes even more important. The thing that changes is that it's really not a competition anymore, unless you're still a competitive powerlifter or you're still a competitive athlete, as some people are into their older years. I'm not at the moment, and I know most of you aren't. So what happens as you get a little bit older is that the idea of training and the purpose of training, it changes, and it becomes even more important, because it's training that's going to prevent the injuries. It's training that's there to help you to stay healthy so that you don't go down that dark path of falling apart. So that's something I'm very concerned with as I'm heading into my 40th year. I'm turning 40 in May, and I've really changed the way I've thought about a lot of different things. And to be honest with you, I feel great. I feel really good. I'm not as big and as massive as I used to be. I'm not squatting 400 pounds. I'm not, loading the bar up with heavy weights, because the risk doesn't meet the reward for me anymore. The reward for me at the moment is being able to do as much as I want to do, being able to push myself, keep my mind clear, but being able to do it injury-free, and training to impact every other aspect of my life. Training needs to help to make me a better business person, a better family man, better at everything I do, and it needs to be there to help to keep me healthy. So here's 3 things that you guys can focus on as you're getting older, in order to prevent injuries and to keep yourself on that path to becoming better and better. Because I want to be the best 40-year-old I could be. I want to be the best 50-year-old I could be. I want to be the best 80, 90-year-old I could be as I move forward. So let's understand what we need to do in order to do this. The number one thing is you got to check your ego. You got to check your ego. And I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I walk into the gym and I look around at some of these young guys who could still lift as much as I used to lift. And sometimes I'll go back on this YouTube channel and I'll look at old videos of myself squatting heavy weight. I'll look at how big I used to be. And sometimes I'm like, well, why can't I get back there again? Why can't I get back there again? Why can't I do that again? Why am I so weak right now? But the reality is this, guys. That's not me trying to become a better version of myself. That's me, my ego really speaking. That's my ego speaking, right? Now, why is that? Because I know factually that I'm in better shape now than I was back when I was doing those heavy weights. You asked me to go roll jujitsu back when I was 210, 220 pounds and squatting heavy weight. I would have had a heart attack within a minute and a half. I would have friggin' passed out because I was not in any kind of cardiovascular shape. Right now, I could still go into the gym. I know I could still squat 300 pounds plus, which is good enough for me. But I also know that I can go and roll jiu-jitsu for an hour and be fine. I know that I can run 3 miles and be fine. I know that I can, you know, do as many pull-ups right now as I could when I was 19 years old and in the Marine Corps, right? And that's important to me as a 40-year-old, right? I also know that, you know, my training sessions, they don't wear me out in the brain like they used to, right? Before my training sessions would, you know, I'd be brain dead for much of the rest of the day. Right now, I get back here, I get in the office after I train, and I feel energized, I feel reinvigorated. And that means that my training regimen is actually helping me with everything else in my life, and that's awesome. So that's the number one thing. Check your ego as much as you want to go in there and you want to lift a heavy weight. And if you can, you definitely should challenge yourself. But don't do it to the point where you know you're putting yourself at risk of injury. All right. Number two, you got to get even more fanatical about your nutrition. Nutrition has a much bigger impact on you as you get older than it did back when you were in your 20s. Right? That's important to remember because a lot of guys keep their habits up that they had in their 20s up into their 30s. I know this. I got a lot of friends who are still drinking a 6-pack of beer every night. I got a lot of friends who are still loading up on the junk food. And whereas these guys were athletic and you know, really fit back in the day, even though they were doing that stuff, these guys are putting on weight right now, and they're falling down that dark path to falling apart. Right? So as you get older, it's even more important that you look after your nutrition. I'm not saying you can't have a beer on the weekends. I'm not saying that you can't have a good time. But on your day-to-day, you should be focused on eating whole food. You should be focused on maintaining your insulin sensitivity. You should be focused on getting a nutrient-dense diet that's going to help to keep you healthy. And you should be focused on eating an anti-inflammatory diet that's going to be focused on keeping your joints from becoming achy. A lot of people don't realize this, but those achy joints you're feeling, that bad back you're feeling, that soreness that you're feeling, the feeling like you're not recovering properly, that has a lot to do with your diet. Not just the amount of protein you're eating, but are you doing things to battle inflammation? Are you making sure that you're getting enough omega-3s? Are you making sure that you're getting enough micronutrients in your diet? Because if you're not, your body's not going to fight inflammation like it should, and it's eventually going to take a dump on you, and you're going to get stiff, achy joints, and you'll make it more likely that you're going to get injured. You also need to be making sure that you're taking care of your digestion. I've been talking about this constantly. If you're not taking care of your digestive tract, that is a route to going into testosterone deficiency, because inflammation from your digestive tract can kill off the Leydig cells in your testicles. I wrote a whole article about this on T Nation. It's called Bad Digestion is Killing Your Testosterone. You guys should check that out. The third thing is this, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but you want to expand your workouts. You want to expand your workouts, all right? So what does that mean? It means you should be doing more, right? Not just going in there and lifting weights and squatting and doing all these different things, but try new things. Try new things, right? Now, what's the reasoning behind this? Well, if you go, one of the most likely ways you're going to get injured is what they call overuse injury, all right? So if you're a runner, for example, and you've always run, and you keep running and you're running every day, and that's all you do up into your 40s and your 50s, well, that means that you're going to be more likely to get overuse injury because you're constantly going over the same movement patterns. That means you're going to develop muscle imbalances, and that those muscle imbalances make it more likely that you're going to get injured. It also means that you're going to get more wear and tear on your joints. Right? Same thing if you're a gym rat and you're hitting the weights. If you're constantly doing the same exercises over and over again, just a barbell, or just what's it called? Just doing the same machines and things like that, and you're working the same movement patterns, that makes it more likely that you are going to get an overuse injury and you're going to get a muscle imbalance. Right? So if you've been watching me or following me over Instagram at the Warrior Soul Agoge account lately, you'll notice I'm doing a lot of different things in my older age. I'm working out with gymnastics rings now. I'm rolling jujitsu now. I'm doing a movement practice now. I'm doing different types of mobility exercises. I've incorporated a lot of Olympic lifting into what I do. I'm trying to do more and more calisthenics, right? And the reason why that's important is because that brings more variation into my workout routine, and that in and of itself is going to keep me from getting those overuse injuries. So if you are looking to stay fit in your older age, my suggestion is go out there and try something new. Now, this isn't that hard, right? You could go to a jiu-jitsu class. You could go to a yoga class. You could look up some Ido Portal movement patterns over here on YouTube, right? There's a lot of different types of things you can do just on your own that are going to help you to vary up the routine. But if you keep it to the same routine you've always done and you keep doing that over and over and over again, number one, you're not going to get any better. Number two, you're going to leave open the possibility that you're going to get injured. Again, I know that's counterintuitive, but it's extremely important that we do more and different things as we get older. All right, so that's what I got for today, guys. I hope that you found this video informative. I want to take on more and more of these questions. And one of the things we're doing with the Warrior Soul podcast now is we're expanding, right? So we've got an interview. I do an interview every Monday. I put one out, and that's an interview with an expert, somebody who can help you in some way, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in life, whether it's in business. On Wednesdays, I do my Q&As, and that's where I take some of these questions and I put them out. This wasn't a podcast Q&A. This is a question that I didn't get to into today's session. But if you're interested in hearing some of the discussion there, as far as answers to common questions I get up on the Warrior Soul Fitness Academy private Facebook group, head over to the Warrior Soul podcast and check that out. And if you get something from it, just leave us a review. And on Fridays, I talk about something in depth. And this usually isn't about fitness. It's usually about life and living your best life. So let me know if you guys check that out. If you like the episodes, share them out. Just like with these videos, if you like these videos, been putting these out for a while, so if it's helped you out, please share it along. And thank you guys for listening. I'll be back at you later on this week with another awesome video. Peace.